And we're down here for another edition of Coach's Corner with Coach Paul McLean. Mac, an interesting game last night. One you had a couple of different leads in and then ended up going to a shootout for the third night in a row. It's kind of crazy to watch that play out over this first part of the season. But a big win against Carolina. And in Elmira history, we don't have a ton of them. How did it feel on the bench?
It feels good. I mean, they're still a pretty good hockey club, and they got some guys there that can hurt you if you don't pay attention. So I thought overall was it was a good win. I mean, a win's a win. At the same time, we want to try to cut back on I think it was a 3-1 at one point there, and then the two quick ones that they got. But I mean, all in all, I thought it was a decent hockey game.
Certainly was, and I want to take you back. Of course, you had Tyler Jurich last year. Now another chance with him.
Yeah.
How good is it to have him on the bench when you're going into a shootout and just know he's just pretty gold?
He's it's uncanny, actually, to be honest. I mean, he's that's definitely his thing. So it was I think all the guys weren't surprised that he put those two in.
He definitely knows how to do it. I want to go forward now to tonight. We've got a big game here, a second game against Carolina, 2 out of 9, which, I mean, obviously isn't a huge amount, but getting a win against Carolina, getting a back-to-back win against Carolina, we've never done in our franchise history. As you look down, you've got great goaltending. You've seen Passingham last night. You got Kelly tonight, who's been phenomenal. Goals against under 1, a save percentage over .970. What do you look for from the front side to get things going offensively? Because it seemed to click for a little while there in the second period and then fizzle out.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just get pucks to the net, and with Vance's goal, it was just a loft. It was a good shot, but it was a low shot, just quick release, and goalies are usually looking for the big wind-up from the point, and I've always said that, especially in playoff time, when you watch the National Hockey League playoffs, a lot of goals are just quick, pucks to the net with some net presence and deflections, rebounds, and sometimes if you get too cute and want to make that extra pass, you're actually helping the other team break out by making those passes in the crease area, right? So.
Speaking of which, we saw that in the overtime last night, a couple chances on both sides, really.
Yeah.
But the Enforcers' MO is kind of defense first, and it's how it's been for the first 6 games of the year. When you guys look at that offensive line, obviously that line of Jurich, Tucker, and Atkins really seemed to click right away. Is that kind of a line you lean on to get into those offensive circles, or is it all throughout the 9 in front?
I think the big thing is, with all the lines, you want to make sure that, we have an opportunity to, when you're doing your job in your own end, usually, a good defense is a good offense. So, and we want to try to utilize those opportunities with just getting, more shots to net, quality shots,
right.
Shots up around, the blocker, the glove hand, just because you got a better chance for a rebound when the shots are, low. I'm not saying they have to be right along the ice, but I mean, it gives you more of an opportunity for a deflection or a rebound, right?
Right. Well, moving on from that, obviously the power play has been a source of somewhat pain here over the first few games. Had a great first game, and then from there it's just disappeared. What is the attribute to that? I mean, is it Mafuz coming in the lineup and moving from that quarterback position and trying to fill that hole, or what isn't clicking right now on the power play?
I think we'll be fine. I mean, I think the big thing is it's just, it's something that I think will come together. It'll click at some point. So, I mean, what are we, like 5 games in now?
Yep.
So, I think we'll end up, we'll get things moving on that for sure. So.
Well, a quarter of the way through the season tonight, 6 out of 25 games is a big number here. The Carolina Thunderbirds, of course, will be here, as I just said, 9 times this season. Is it important to make these games statement games? I ask that before every game I seem to talk to you, but having these early games against these teams after you've been practicing, you have gotten the work in as far as the Enforcers team, are these games the ones where you need to win and set the tone?
I mean, you know what, I think, and again, the time that we're in right now with everything going on in the world, I think it's a good, goal to, try to get a quick start, because it is a shortened season, of course, so I think they're slated to play like 24 or 25 or what have you, but so that's like half of what we would normally play, right? So at the end of the day, I think we want to try to, win as many as we can, and because we don't know I don't know what the playoff format is or what that's going to be like, but you want to try to take as many as you can and see if you can't get, a little bit of an advantage when that starts, right?
For sure. Well, last question before I let you go. I don't want to keep you too long, but once again, a big game against Carolina here at home. Tonight's game on television. Going to have the chance to have a few more fans watching. The guys all just seem so calm and ready for every game this season. What's the attitude like in the dressing room? What are the guys feeling this year? Because usually we play Carolina, there's an air of tension even I as a broadcaster from high above the building can feel. But this year everybody just seems really relaxed and ready to go every game.
I think the guys are just happy to be playing hockey again, and a lot of guys, a lot of players right now don't have that opportunity, and because of the time that we're in. But I think at the end of the day, it's everybody's just enjoying the fact that we can be at the rink and playing hockey. And I think when you're a little looser, I always say when you're nervous, it's a good sign. It's good to be a little bit nervous because then you're preparing yourself, but you don't want to be to the point where it's affecting your game. So if you can play, a little bit more relaxed, I think that's a good thing.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach McLean. We'll be back here on the Mixler.com pregame show.